Hello there everybody, Sam'sTrains here and welcome back to Sam'sTrains Live. This week we are having a little bit of a wagon review week, so I've got two wagons to look at from two different scales. One of them is TT scale and the other one is in 00 scale, so we'll get onto that in just a second. First of all though, hello and welcome. How is everybody doing? It is awesome to be back for another live stream. Kelly's getting ready to send me a terrifying request apparently, so we'll see how that goes, and thank you so much to everyone who's requested and super chatted already. I'll be getting to all those later on, so thank you for that. Today, like I say, I've got two unboxings to do. I'm going to be doing lots of live trains and I'm going to be taking requests, so if you'd like to support the channel with a request, you can use the super chat, which is the little $sign in the chat down there. And if you donate £5 or $6 or the equivalent in whatever country you're from, then I'll run whatever train, whatever loco, whatever rolling stock you want, and that's a little 5-minute of fame for you on the stream. And if there are any birthdays in the house, and I think there might be one, super chat for any amount and I'll play my birthday song for you. Anyway, how's it doing? MLPTNF is doing quite well. I'm glad. I hope everyone's doing well too. Depressed Pig, oh, that's unfortunate. Hello to you. Luke's Locomotives is here as well. Owen Lee, here's the man himself. Hey Sam, hello Owen, you're the man yourself too. TMD R&M, hello Samuel, hello to you too. Mark the Vicar, we got a vicar in the house. Nice work, Mark, nice to see you. J&W and Bubbles are watching. I've frozen, for goodness sake. It doesn't normally happen mid-shot, does it? That's weird. But anyway, yeah, shout out to Bubbles, the hamster. I think Bubble, is that right? Bubbles a hamster? I'm not entirely sure. The theme, oh yeah, that's a good question, Eggs Trains. Don't tend to have themes anymore. For the requests, I tend to just do the most creative request of the night. But that is true, I didn't mention that. So the best request of today will get another FJ Newton van. Yes, no, it's not a van, it's a wagon. Yeah, bought two of these things. So as much as I didn't want to give the first one away, I've got another one which I don't want to give away, but I will, to the most creative request of the night. And we've already had a few, including, I think I just saw a Kelly one. Can you trip over the track and get splattered by Thomas the Tank Engine? Try not to be too interpretive of what you mean by that, but I will see what I can do. Thank you very much. Lapis Wake wants to see the ES1 hauling the two EPB, two electric locos. That's cool. As though the EPB has failed and is being dragged back to the depot. Lapis Wake, that sounds awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Caleb Chan is going to ruin the start of the stream, everybody. First of all, they say it was their birthday on Tuesday, so happy birthday. I hope you had a great birthday. Can you have the train birthday song, please? You also want to see the Hattons Andrew Barclay Katie pulling a celebratory birthday train. No problem. So to Caleb, I have to try and remember which button it was. I think I've remembered. Everybody in the chat, spam it now. This is the one time you have my permission to do so. A happy birthday for Caleb. And if I press the wrong button and something else happens, then you know what I did. Here we go.
Happy train birthday to you. Happy train birthday to you. Happy train birthday, happy train birthday. Happy train birthday to you.
Well, there you go. That just proves that we've not had the birthday song for a little while, because I did press the train time button. But no, there is no surprise train time episode today. It's just a happy birthday to Caleb. So there you go. Right, before we get on to these wagon reviews then, let's run some trains. So we've got, well, you can just see how interesting these are. I guess the most fascinating one here is from Sodor Danderman, who wanted to see the Rocket with 3 egg vans, Lion, which I couldn't do, unfortunately, but also an intercity non-powered loco at the end. So I've had to adapt that slightly. Obviously, Lion is tricky because it doesn't have compatible couplings, at least not on the front. And I don't think Rocket would be able to haul an unpowered HST unit. So I've put a powered one on, and that's where most of the power from this train's going to come from. Then we have Mayo Hosco, who wanted to see the Sherwood Peckett pushing the Beelhack and pulling some Genesis coaches. He did want to see chunks of pineapple inside an Arnold Sands truck and a brake van. I couldn't do the pineapple thing. First of all, it's a little gross. I don't want to ruin my models with pineapple. Second of all, I did check. I don't have pineapple in at the moment, so I do apologise, Mayo, but hopefully the rest of that's okay for you. And then Thomas Hoy left a lovely comment last week, so thank you, Thomas. You wanted to see a pug, so I've put on my most special pug of all. This is the first ever loco I ever had, and it's the Caledonian Pug by Hornby. So let's see how that goes. Let's see how the Beelhack train goes. I suppose that's just in case of snow. And then we've got the Rocket train, and I do think Rocket there is going to be dragged along by the HST there, which is obviously much, much quicker. But whether it will work and all stay on is another question. I also had to put on one of my own Era 1 wagons to convert the couplings, but obviously that was possible. My pug's going at quite some pace. Might be an old loco now, but it's still pretty lively. And we've got the Beelhack making slow progress, which I think is sensible for a Beelhack. But yeah, that's all right. And we've got loads and loads of super chats today. Thank you so much. As always, I will get to all of these, but they are first come, first served. So, you know, if you're too late for this show, it'll appear in next week's show, which is going to be the last stream of the year. So yeah, keep them coming and see if you can get that wagon. Mega Train Lover, hope you're well. Please can you run the unrebuilt Merchant Navy with some Southern coaches? Lovely idea, we've not had that one for ages. And ECD Railroad says, hello Sam, can you double head the 2 small Ruston shunters with milk and Pepsi tankers and the balancing train at the back? That's awesome, I like that idea, thank you. And I guess Stevenson's Rocket and the HST have mutually agreed that they will not run a second lap. Why is that then? HST just decided not to, I guess. All right, well, no problem, HST, whatever you prefer. And I assume then that Rocket probably couldn't manage by itself and it caused a derailment. And that's, well, you can't argue with that. I do just wonder where the coupling's gone, though. Oh, no, I don't. It's still attached to the little wagon, so that's all right. Let me take that off, put that inside the wagon. Fair enough. Right, well, I do like it when the trains decide they've got a mind of their own and they're going to just do whatever they please. Although, maybe like is a strong word. Right, so I know where the pug is because that's running round. Where is the Beelhack? Can anybody see it? Oh, yeah, it's there. Just disappeared out of shot. But yeah, I was worried that had gotten stuck behind the bookcase somehow, so I'm glad it didn't. Right, let's stop these then, and we'll talk about the reviews. It's been a while since I've done a live review of any sort, and so I'm going to do that today. Oh, come on, Peckett. Just managed to stop at the wrong moment. There we go. All good. Right, more trains to run in a little while. All right, let's do a bit of a live review then. So we'll start with the 00 scale model that I'm going to be looking at today. And it's this, it comes from EFE Rail. Now, had some bad experiences with EFE Rail products in the past. Very expensive, not really good enough for the money in many cases, but unlike a lot of the EFE Rail stuff, this is a new tooled item. It came out just recently, it's not brand new, but within the last couple of months. And as you can see here, it is an LSWR 10-ton ventilated van. And it's been produced by Kerno Model Rail Centre, and like I say, it's a brand new product. Now, in terms of the price, as always from EFE Rail, it's very, very expensive. The RRP is £32.95, and I bought mine from D-Rail's models for £29.95. So unless you can find it on discount, it is a £30 wagon, which puts it right up there with the very most premium wagons that you can get, i.e. the Rapido ones and I guess some of the new Bachmann ones. So as always, with a high price comes high expectations. So I'm expecting a lot of detail on this. I'm expecting a high quality build, so a die-cast chassis. A die-cast chassis is not necessary, but they've charged the money, so that's what I expect. Ideally sprung buffers, a full suite of accessories for you to fit, including couplings. Yeah, for a 30 quid wagon, this really has to be the full works, and not to mention top performance as well. So high expectations, whether those will be met or not remains to be seen, but yeah, let's take a look and let's pop it out. So first question, does this come with accessories? And the answer is no. There's nothing in this at all. So everything that comes with the wagon is pre-fitted to the wagon. All right. And no, it doesn't have chain or screw link couplings. So, okay, fair enough. That's one strike. In terms of the weight, yeah, it's not too bad. I have got scales here, so we'll see what this thing weighs. So this comes in at, well, let's try a different wagon. So this is another £30 wagon, and this is the closest you can get to a wagon actually being worth £30. It's a Rapido gunpowder, and the weight of this one is 42 grams. Now, as you can see, the LSWR van here is quite a bit larger than the gunpowder van, or is it? Yeah, slightly larger, I would say. Yeah, a little bit larger, about a buffer larger. So if this can match it, then I'll say, yeah, the weight's okay. So what was it coming at? Let me see if I can get this in. Oh, no, I won't be able to. Well, I might. It comes in at, oh, a slow fade in chaos. 39.43 grams. So it's larger and yet lighter than other £30 models. Right, let me just sort this cutting out. There we go, I don't want that fading. Right, so does it have the die-cast chassis? I'm prospecting. No, it doesn't. It's plastic. Ooh, and it tastes horrible as well. Bad flavour. 0 marks for flavour. God, hopefully my tongue won't melt. Anyway, here's a close look at it. And yeah, I mean, it does have a fair number of separate parts on it. This sort of rail on front of the door there, that's a separately fitted part. And these little rails at the bottom here are separately fitted, but they're not straight. At least that one's not. Is that intentional? Yeah, that looks like it's just been fitted wonky. All the rest of them, yeah, that one's wonky as well. About on the other side. So, I mean, it's either shoddily poor quality or it's supposed to look like that. Now, I did make one of these wagons myself last year, and I don't remember looking at the drawings anything like this, but yeah, are they supposed to be like that? Not sure. Right, do they have bearings? Because a £30 van from Rapido, or wagon, does have bearings. No, this one doesn't. What on earth? Why is this so expensive? It's not like, does the door open? No, the doors are fixed. What the devil are they thinking, charging 30 quid for this thing? Or more if you pay the RRP. It's lovely, it's nicely put together, I must say. The detail looks good, the finish is quite plasticky, but okay. It's just there's no reason why it should cost that. Oxford Rail did a similar van in the Northeastern livery. That was new tooled and everything. It was about half the price of this. I don't know. It's got some underframe though, yeah. It looks okay. I must say, it looks fine. There's just absolutely nothing about this that would justify £30. I don't know whether the wonky handrails, I don't know whether they are wonky or intentional. If they're not intentional, then that's even worse. But I'm not going to knock it down for that because I don't know. And the buffers, no, they're not sprung. They never are, but I thought maybe, since this is not offering any other feature, maybe it's got sprung buffers. Anyway, wheels, well, yeah, they're not exactly that free rolling, but let's pop it onto Gordon's Hill and let's do a live rendition of the rolling test. And then later on I'll hook this up to a request and we'll see how well it performs. Right. Come on, you've got to excel in some areas. It doesn't look like it's going to do it. It starts and then it stops. Oh, it's going. Nope, it stopped. No, there's a tight spot, isn't there? It starts to go. Let's give it a real push. No, brakes applied. Yeah, it actually, I gave it a real shove and it stopped itself just past the footbridge. Not impressed, not impressed. Farcically expensive, average at best in terms of features, and it's missing some features at that. The chain link couplings would have been nice. Stiff, doesn't roll very well. What? 30 quid? What a rip-off. So it's a typical EFE Rail model. There we go. And I'll pop it, well, I don't know. Let's see if it can actually make it around the track. I'm not going to do it with an egg van because they are faulty themselves, and I don't want to blame the EFE Rail model if it should derail because of those. So I'm going to grab a Bachmann Southern van, which doesn't have faulty couplings, and we'll couple it up to there. Perhaps we need a brake van, just so that something else is coupled to the other side of it. Let me grab a brake van. I think I have an LSWR brake van somewhere. Yeah, I do. Let's pop that on then. And let's just run it round. Hopefully the egg vans won't cause loads of problems. But if they do, obviously that's no reflection on the new model, because the egg vans are known to be dodgy. Right, not an ideal loco, probably not the sort of loco that EFE envisioned to be running with this, but we'll see if it works. Thank you to Sharky, Sam'sTrains and Beaglington-on-Sea very much, and also Sam Garnett. I will get to your requests later on. And Williamtown, yes, I got yours, thank you very much. Well, it's actually going at quite a speed there, and it seems to be okay on the curves. So it's useless in terms of free running, which is not great for a pre-grouping piece of rolling stock, because pre-grouping locos tend to be a little bit weaker than the rest. So if you put a big rake of these together, the stiffness, and extreme stiffness, I might add, could cause a problem there. Again, for 30 quid I would expect some bearings or a lower price. Can't understand that. But yeah, performance-wise, apart from the lack of freewheeling, it is fine. Yeah, coupling's okay, that's good. Couplings seem to work just like they do on other Bachmann products, so yeah, no issues with that. Okay. Wow. Well, I would say I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm not dreadfully surprised. It lines up pretty well with other EFE Rail products I've looked at, but I did sort of hope that maybe this would be different, as it is a new design and not something that's been brought back after 10 years, and you kind of expect those models to be a little bit below par, but really, with this being brand new, there's no excuse, is there? Anyway, we'll have to see if I can do slightly better with the next wagon. And I've already shot this, so I kind of know the answer. But at Worley, I noticed that Peco had produced some wagons of their own, which are all made in England, very interestingly. And so I decided to pick one up and see how I got on with it. So here we go, a brand new wagon made in England by Peco. Here in the UK, TT railway models have been more or less exclusive to Hornby for the past year or so, until now, and that's because Peco very recently released their own range of models, and they are these, the all-new TT scale 7-plank wagons. As you can see, I've got this lovely Cadbury Bourneville one, which I really liked, but there's a whole range of these in all sorts of different liveries. They're also quite a bit cheaper than Hornby's. The Hornby TT 7-plank wagon costs £21.49 on their website, and if you can find a retailer that stocks it, they are a little bit cheaper, tend to be around the £20 mark, £19.34 at the model centre. Well, I ordered this model from Hatton's for £17.06, and that means depending on where you get these from, they're between 13 and 25% cheaper than the Hornby TT 7-plank wagon. And so if these look good and they run as they should, this could be a very viable option, particularly if Peco decide to produce more in this vein. So let's get this out and let's see what it's like. So I like the packaging. It's very compact, not a centimetre larger than it needs to be, and it also looks like it comes in a bit of a display case, which is a bonus, isn't it? 2-in-1, you can store it but also display it in here. And I noticed that this has been designed for a taller model, so does that mean we've got vans and other such rolling stock on the way? Well, fingers crossed. Anyway, let's see how this opens up. Yeah, seems to be fairly straightforward. And then we've got what looks like a band around it, yeah, which straps the wagon to the base. And here it is, the Cadbury Bourneville Peco 7-plank open wagon. And from a distance, you can't really tell very much difference between this and, let me pull it in, the Hornby one that I've got. They do seem pretty similar in their level of detail, but the big question is, how are they up close? Well, let's have a bit of a comparison and see what the differences actually are. So first, let's see how they compare in terms of weight. So Hornby on the scales first. That comes in at 7.68 grams. Let's pop the Peco on, see how much that one weighs. And that comes in at 9.53 grams. So in terms of percentages, this is the significantly heavier wagon, which is interesting because it's also the cheaper wagon by a similar sort of percentage. So let's take a look at the detail and see what the differences are. So here we have both models side by side. We have the Peco model, which is made in England, and then we have the Hornby model, which is, I assume, made in China. Now, in terms of the body detail, the two are pretty much indistinguishable. They both have fine riveting and all of the molded details look nice and crisp. So really there's not very much difference there. The main difference is in the decoration. As you can see, the Hornby one here is tampo printed and the Peco one here looks as though it's been UV printed. Now, UV printing is much faster and cheaper than tampo printing because the machine sort of does it for you. With tampo printing, each colour has to be done separately, and there's a lot of other steps involved, such as aligning the parts and creating the hardware to do it. And while the UV printed wagon looks absolutely fine from a distance, up close you can see that it isn't quite as sharp as the tampo printed finish. Particularly on the underframe here, there is quite a difference, isn't there? I think UV printing works great on larger scales, but perhaps it's not quite as good here at TT. But again, from a distance, it's not bad at all. Here's a look at the interiors. We've got the Hornby one first, nice and clean moulding as you can see, and it's even got rivets. I don't think the Peco one is quite as good because there are visible moulding marks in there, and it also doesn't have rivets, so that's a difference to bear in mind. The Hornby one does have a few extra quality features such as the metal buffers. Not really sure what difference that makes, but they are noticeably metal, whereas the Peco ones are just plastic. And then the Hornby one has a detailed underframe, which is rather impressive, as you can see. And the Peco one actually doesn't. There's no detail down here. Again, how important that is to you will depend on what sort of modeler you are. And then the couplings are a little different as well. The Hornby ones are kinematic and sprung, as you can see, whereas the Peco ones do spring, but they're just on a bit of springy plastic, which allows them a little bit of movement. Whether that makes a difference will depend on how well these perform. So there you go, those are some of the similarities and the differences. Let's now get this Peco wagon down onto the track and we'll see how it performs. So here's my setup for today's running test. We've got the TT layout out. I've got the 08 shunter ready to couple up to the two wagons, which I'm going to run together. And then we've got a brake van at the back to complete the train. I'm going to test the couplings in just a second, but first I have to say the Peco wagon is much freer rolling. Oh, I guess I already tested the couplings by accident, but it proves the point that the Peco one is a lot freer rolling than the Hornby one, which seems to stop itself a lot more easily. So freer wheels, that's great, but it also obviously means that the couplings have to be better. Otherwise, if there's any stiffness in the coupling, the wagon will just be pushed away rather than coupling. So let's try a sort of gentle coupling and see how we get on. Okay, so let's gently back up the 08. We're going to do this slow. Well, not too slow, because the 08 can't go that slow, but we'll try. Right, and let's see which of them actually managed to couple there. So it did manage to couple to the first open wagon. The Peco one didn't. Right, so we might have had what I described there. We might have had the wagon push itself away rather than couple. Let's try again. A bit faster. Forwards. Oh, we almost had it. Let's try one more time. Yeah. So, struggling with couplings. Let's just take the Peco wagon out, just to see how the others behave under the same conditions. Take it real slow. All right. One more time with the Peco. Final test. Same sort of speed. Any difference? All right, so it's reliably not coupling very well. And I did talk to Peco briefly at Worley about these wagons, and they did warn me that the couplings were not the best. So definitely something to improve, I think. It does seem to work though if you push them together with some sort of force. Although that rear one there is actually too high. It shouldn't be that high, should it? It needs to be bent down. And the brake van did couple to the Hornby wagon okay. See if that can be adjusted. There we go. Oh, knocked it off, but we got it adjusted. Okay, so let's get this running, see how it gets on around the track. So I'd go as far as to say the coupling on the Peco wagon just didn't work in terms of pushing the wagons together and having them couple. But now that they are coupled, the performance is perfect. It's perfectly fine over my points and also the tighter first radius curves. I just tried that as well. So let's have a bit of a conclusion then. So the Peco wagon is cheaper, but the Hornby one is slightly better quality. The Peco one is heavier, but the Hornby one has a little bit more detail on it. The Peco one is freer rolling, the Hornby one's a little bit stiffer, but the Hornby couplings are better. However, once coupled, both wagons are perfectly okay. So, which wagon do you prefer? Which one would you buy? And why? Please do let me know. For now though, that will just about do it for this mini review. So let's go back to the live stream. So there you go folks, a little bit of an unboxing of one of Peco's TT wagons and also a comparison there between the Hornby and the Peco one. I guess that begs the question then, which one do you think is the best? Bung it in the chat now. If you had to buy one, which one would you buy? I think as much as I like what Peco are doing and you know I think they're a good company and everything, I think the Hornby one is my pick. You know, it's a little bit more expensive, but you do get more detail, you get couplings that work better, and the interior looks a lot nicer on the Hornby one, I think. The Peco one definitely has advantages though, and you know, if you're looking to save some money, perhaps if you're building up a big rake and you're not going to be doing too much shunting, because it's really shunting that's going to be a pain with the Peco ones. I think if you're just going to couple them up and pull them around and round, that will be okay. So if you're going to do that, you know, I guess the Peco one, but overall, generally speaking, I would say Hornby for me. You know, they really did do well with their TT stuff, and I don't think Peco are far off, but yeah, unfortunately they didn't quite meet the mark for me. Let's see. I would buy the TT one, says literally Mark. Well, all right, Mark, I guess you're sitting on the fence then. Adam says Hornby one. Peter Rukensis says Hornby one. We got anybody making a case for Peco? Techno Andrew, I'd buy Peco. The free rolling and cheaper price allow for, there you go, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, allows for longer rakes easier. Yes, absolutely. Paul Davis, much as I'd like to give it to Peco, on balance, I think Hornby has to take it. Yeah, I feel the same. Glenn again, so a few people are saying Peco for the price, which is a pity because I think if they sorted out the couplings, which they might do on future batches, I don't know, then I think they could earn a lot of custom through these models. J&W, thank you very much. For today's challenge, could you run the compound? I always like the compound. And the B12 with some dark green coaches representing Christmas lights on the tree branches. Now that's creative. Well done, J&W. Thank you very much. All right. So I think, yeah, I think generally most people are saying Hornby then, but some people are going for Peco. So it's reasonably balanced. I do think though that, yeah, the Hornby ones have it. Right, let's do some trains then. So XRCon42 wanted to see the Garrett, the 9F and the Big Boy do a race. So what is going to happen here, I don't know, but I've put them all on the same track and we'll see which goes first. I've put them in the order that I think they will be best suited. So I think the Big Boy at the back there shouldn't catch up with the rest because that's pretty slow. I think the Garrett is in the middle somewhere, and I think the 9F is the fastest. So I'm expecting not to have any crashes here, but I haven't tested this, so we'll have to wait and see. And then Christopher Welby, for his son William, wanted to see the blue Intercity 125, and William was in hospital this week, not doing too well. I don't know the details, but yeah, William, if you're watching this, I hope you're doing much, much better. Well done for taking your medication, and I hope you like seeing the blue Intercity 125. Hopefully that's one of your favourites or something like that. And then Caleb Chan, whose birthday, it was Caleb, wasn't it, whose birthday it was, wanted to see the Roco glass box with some Genesis coaches, which is quite the interesting pairing there, isn't it? So I guess we'll start the others first. So there's Williams. Let's get the glass box going too. There we are. And on with the race. Here we go. Uh-oh, got it wrong. Immediately the Garrett caught up with the Hornby 9F there. But it looks as though the rest of it is going as expected. The big boy is lagging behind. So it looks as though, that's a surprise, but the Garrett, I think, would win the race. I'm hoping it won't derail the 9F as it goes along there. Look at the big boy. That's not a loco you want chasing you, is it? Imagine looking out the window and seeing a big boy out of control coming towards you. Terrifying. And of course, the big boy in real life, all they'd have to do is, well, I was going to say step on the regulator. That's not quite how trains work, but, you know, wouldn't take much to really get that going. And then you'd be in deep, deep trouble. I think big boy versus anything else, the big boy's always going to win. Caleb Chen, best wishes for William. Yes, absolutely. Hope you're doing well, William. Where's your request? Can't see it. Let's have a little scan round. Where's it at? There it is. There we go. HST. We should be able to get it going underneath the shelf. Now, if I leave these running for too long, I think the big boy's going to get caught up by the Garrett and the 9F. I don't know where they are. Are they probably around the front somewhere? Don't know. All the big boys derailed. How's that happened? Don't think you're going to see that, but yeah, the big boys derailed. That's never happened before, and not on any curves either. It's just on the points. Straight ahead points as well. How very odd. Well, you're definitely going to get caught up now, Mr. Big Boy. Oh, crikey, and the tender's come uncoupled. Right, get it round to the front. Hopefully it can limp its way through. It's pulling its tender along by the wires, which is why I don't like that coupling, coupling design. But we'll see how we get on. David Mattock, sorry to do this again, Sam, but can the T Brown number 3 fit on a Laureate? Last time was the Bachmann version. The T Brown. Do I have that one? Which is that? I'm not sure about that one. Anyway, let's pull the... Blimey, that glass box is going. Was it going that quick when I started it? I've just seen it shoot by here. Now it's in reverse, it's not going that fast. Uh-oh. Collision. Oh, big boy's fallen over. Oh my gosh. Oh, we missed it. I just heard it happen. You can just about see the front of big boy there. So I think what happened is big boy stopped again on the point. I think the wire might have got caught actually. I think that's probably what happened. And then I forgot about it, and the 9F and the Garrett pushing it crashed into the back. Why that made the big boy fall over, I don't know, because his tender's not fallen over. But yeah, maybe those things I said about the big boy were wrong. You know, maybe he's not unbeatable. Maybe he's actually rather a fragile chap after all. I don't know. Come on, a 9F would not be able to knock over a big boy with a simple tap to the backside like that, surely. Oh, that sounded like a slightly wrong thing to say, didn't it? I apologise. I just sort of suddenly became aware of what was coming out of my mouth there. I apologise to Ofcom in advance. Right, take those off. So that's the race done. I guess we could say that the 9F teamed up with the Garrett there to oust the American engine there. Don't condone that at all, because I rather like that big boy, and I wouldn't want to destroy it through a race. But it was my fault. I think we can call it an operator error, can't we? Because I didn't notice the impending crash. I didn't even notice the fact that it was stopped. The glass box had a sudden spurt of speed which distracted me. Goodness sake. Oh well. Right, let's set up some more trains then, shall we? Because we've got some more to do later on. So we've got to do one for Malcolm Loud now, who wanted to see James with some LBSC coaches. So I've already sort of gotten these trains ready, so it should be straightforward. But I think there's a bit of a twist with this one. Wasn't there something else Malcolm wanted to add on? I think it was Malcolm. Yeah, he wanted the railgun, and you're not going to like the reason for this, but he says just in case there are any sleighs flying through the sky. I guess the suggestion being that James, for some reason, is going to shoot it down. So yeah, I don't know if that's just something Malcolm's made up, or does James have a problem with Santa's sleigh in one of the Thomas stories? I don't know, I'm not an expert. But just in case he does, and there's no guarantee he's going to be able to pull this, because look at that, he's rolling along just like a wagon. But yeah, we'll certainly try it. Now, are all the wheels on? Because if half the wheels are off, it's definitely not going to work. But yeah, we'll give that a try. And then Adam Williams wanted to see the Dapol Class 59 with some of those AliExpress bogie wagons, which is a cool one. And I've actually, well, I didn't do this on purpose, but I pulled them out of the drawer in a very festive looking formation here. We got the blues and the greys. So we'll put them on in that formation, and I think with the red of the Dapol 59, that will look quite festive. Go on, James, let's see if you can move your very, very heavy train out the way, just so I can put these on. Now, one of these has got a tension lock on it, or it should have. Oh, yeah, that one. So that one has to go at the front with the loco. Let's put that on. That's the one I stuck all the details on, and then I got bored and didn't stick the details on any more of these, so I've only got one with all the accessories on it. I will do more at some point. It's actually quite a fun little taste of what is involved in assembling wagons. And actually, it's not that bad. You know, if you're not in a factory somewhere having to do thousands of them, I actually rather enjoyed paying much less for these wagons and having some of the details to fit for myself than I would have if I'd have. I think it was quite a bit more to have them factory fitted. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I haven't been bothered to do it, but in theory, I quite like the idea. Right. So there we go. Oops, sorry, James. I've just given James an electric shock. There we go. All coupled up, so we'll do that in just a second, but there's still another one to set up. Was it the Terrier? No, we're going to do that one later on. Techno Andrew wanted to see the Wren Castle class. Now this is an interesting one. And most of my Wren locos I've put away into storage now because they, I don't run them that often, and because some of them are quite rare and valuable, I didn't want them getting damaged. But I rather like this Castle class, and it's one of the locos that I do find I run occasionally. So I did decide to keep that one out, which is quite lucky. And the thing about the Wren locos, of course, as everybody knows, is that they're entirely die-cast. So, you know, today we go crazy for die-cast locos. Well, they did back in the past as well. They stem from the Hornby Dublo models, which of course were all metal back in the day. And I guess it's quite ironic really that Hornby are bringing back the Dublo models, the fully die-cast models, because back in the day, the original Hornby sort of fell foul because their models were all die-cast and very heavy and consequently very expensive, and they sort of got beaten by the other manufacturer, which was Triang, before obviously the two companies connected themselves together. And yeah, they lost a lot of sales to Triang until Triang, or the company that sort of produced the Triang models, ended up owning Hornby, and they carried on with the Hornby name. So it'd be interesting to see if something like that happens these days, I suppose, now that Hornby are starting to make a lot of their models metal, which I like, don't get me wrong. And back in the day, everybody liked the Hornby metal models too, but they were very expensive compared with the competition, which is very true of Hornby models today. So will history repeat itself? I don't know, but we will see. Anyway, folks, how are you all doing? I'll do some Wall of Fame in just a second, but let's have a look and see what people are saying. But yeah, Techno Andrew, yes, the castle was available. I've got the castle out still, the R1 is out still, and there is the City of Glasgow. Is it Glasgow? It's something Scottish. What is it? Yeah, City of Glasgow, the BR Blue one. And that's it. The rest of them are all in storage. So, yes, very lucky choice. Potato spilled. That sounds bad. It's Christmas, Sam. Yes, and I'm very excited as well. And yet, Techno Andrew, you got a history lesson as well. Joshua, I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you're fine as well. You're doing chicken out there, says Potato Spilled. That sounds good. I could go for some chicken, for sure. Hello, Level Crossing Creations. Nice to see you. And Cody Steams, I am okay. I hope you are as well. Right, so I'm not going to show you the Wall of Fame today. I'm going to do that next week. But if you'd like to have a picture up on the Wall of Fame /train in this room, then just email it to me at samstrains@outlook.com. I'll print it off and show it in a live stream, just like I'm going to with these. And then I'll pop it up on the wall so that you might see it in a video. But, well, otherwise, at the very least, you're part of this sort of channel. Your picture will be present for all future filming. So first of all, we have one from Yon G, who sent in this little collage. Not trains that I recognise, so if anybody does, please do let me know. But I like that little collage of 4 pictures. Thank you very much to Yon, I appreciate that. And then Alfie M sent something a bit more familiar to me. Look at that. Beautiful British steamer, looks like a bullied even. Absolutely fantastic. A gorgeous, gorgeous photo on a nice sunny day as well. So thank you, Alfie, appreciate that. Then we've got this one from Brent. This was from a chap I met at Worley. Brent's the father. I don't know what the kid's name is, but if you're watching, I've had permission to show this. So hello to you. Thank you for coming to say hi at Worley. I hope you had a really wonderful time. I know we did. So there you go. Lovely to see that. I'll put that on the wall. William J sent in this very scenic shot from his model railway. So thank you, William. I like that. And the people on the platform as well. And the Ginty waiting at the station. That's lovely. So thank you, William. And then Train Boy sent in this. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous Great Western narrow gauge by the looks of it. Tank engine. So thank you, Train Boy. And Train Boy won last week's Wagon. And I think they said they'd received it, which is good. And I've got another request for Train Boy to do this week / next week. So there you go, Train Boy, thank you. Oliver T sent in this. Now, most of the steam models I look at, not models, steam contraptions I look at are trains, but this is not. This is a steam, well, is it a traction engine? Can't quite tell. It's not a steamroller, is it? No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. It might be a tractor. Is it a tractor? I'm not an expert on these things, but there it is, looking absolutely excellent. I'm sure people will be able to tell us in the chat. So thank you, Oliver, for that one. Terry sent in this. We've got a beautiful, I almost said pre-grouping there, which is true actually, but it's easier to say Era 1. So yeah, Lion there with some coaches. Very lovely. So thank you, Terry, for that. And then Christopher S sent me this. It's a gorgeous shot of what appears to be his pannier tank collection. A lot of them seem to be in the London Transport as well, which is very nice. So you'll be pleased with the Curascale's latest announcement, won't you? I believe they are doing a London Transport one, so you might be able to get another and add it to your collection. But yeah, thank you, Christopher. Thank you for that. And then Zach the Real sent in this awesome bit of photography of what I assume is his Green Arrow loco, which is a Bachmann V2. So thank you very much for those folks, and if you'd like to have a picture up on the Wall of Fame /train, then email it to me and I'll put it up for you. For now though, let's try out these trains that I set up. We've got Malcolm Loud first of all. Let's see if James can handle the railgun and the Genesis coaches. 50% speed, he needs a run up. And then we've got the Adam Williams request, Dapol 59, and then Techno Andrew. Oops, I gave James another electric shock. Why do I keep doing that? I don't know. And the castle will need a fair bit of juice. There we go, it's off. Nice work. So let's see. Thank you again to everybody for these awesome requests. I know there are going to be some that I haven't read out today, so if that's the case, I do apologise if I happen to be somewhere else when they came up, but I will read them all. Not one will go unread, and if you did submit a request, I'll do it in next week's stream if I don't do it in today's. So thank you to everybody, much appreciate it. There's the Dapol 59, not a loco I talk about very often, or perhaps even at all since I reviewed it, but it's not a bad little effort, that. Oh, that castle's going for it. Let's look at that. It's about to come by. Oof. And as you can see, it's an old thing, but it's making absolute mincemeat of those 6 coaches. Zero issues at all, and you just know that you could put a lot more than that on, and it won't care. Good loco, that. So you can see why I kept this one out. I didn't want to pack this one away. I mean, the condition of it's not outstanding. I thought something had gone wrong there. Maybe something has. Yep, something certainly has. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everything seems to be out the way. Oh, crumbs. Okay, let's bring the trains to a stop just for safety's sake. I don't know what's happened there then. They're stuck behind the bookcase, which is what I do know, and that's very typical, isn't it? But I don't know, because those AliExpress wagons are normally perfectly okay. But well, according to this, one of them's just disconnected and the whole lot stopped. I did hear something derail, so are my tracks, have they become too close together maybe? And they got caught. I don't think the castle was near it though, was it, when it happened? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it does look a little close. But then again, the castle ran past while after this had happened. No, those tracks are fixed there, aren't they? So I don't know. Let me see if I can grab this and pull it through. Oh, how very odd. They're not even derailed, folks. Not even derailed. They're still on the track. That's weird. Maybe Kelly's obsession for ghost trains has caused some sort of phantom to operate up here now. I don't know. But that's spooky. There we go. And to other manufacturers, that's what a free rolling set of wagons looks like. EFE Rail. Yeah, these were, how much did they cost me? I can't remember now. Probably £10 or less each. Best rolling stock I've got. Absolutely wonderful. And why they came uncoupled there, I don't know, because I've never had a single issue with these. But maybe it's the old curse of the live stream, I don't know. But whatever, it's all good. Right, so lots of requests still left over. There were some from last week that we've still not seen, so I guess up next I'm going to roll those for you. So here they come, last week's leftover requests. The first request comes from Trainboy, who wanted to see Thomas not pulling Annie and Clarabelle as he usually does, but pushing them instead. And obviously Hornby Thomas got front couplings as well, so that is something he can do. So there you've got Hornby Thomas pushing Annie and Clarabelle. Thank you very much to Trainboy. And then Carrie Inkonen wanted to see Daylight or Big Boy plus a US diesel and some US passenger cars. So I went with Big Boy. I've double-headed her, which is not something the Big Boy needs, but we've done it anyway. And just because I haven't got that many working passenger cars, I put some open wagons on there as well, just to make the train up a little bit. So cool request. Nice to see some US locos double-heading. Obviously, most American locos do double-head, particularly the diesels. So this is a cool thing to do. So thank you, Carrie. And then Co-Captain Blues Gaming made a request that sometimes you just don't have to ask questions about, you just got to do it. So what they actually wanted was a giant cabbage on top of flatbeds or wall wells spread over 2 lines with 2 king classes hauling. Now unfortunately that was impossible to do. You can't spread stuff over 2 lines because my 2 lines don't remain strictly parallel. But I've got a cutout of a cabbage because obviously I can't make a cabbage ride on this railway, and I've just got the 1 king class pulling it because it doesn't have a front coupling. But there you go, Co-Captain Blues Gaming, thank you for keeping me on my toes with a very, very creative request, and I hope this was close enough so that you enjoyed it. So there you have it. Thank you to Trainboy, Carrie Ikonen, and Co-Captain Blues Gaming. Up next, we have a lovely, lovely request from LSWR, who wanted to see Maud with some Northern coaches, which I don't know if I've done that before. So there's Maud with the sound on, and she's got two of the Hattons Genesis coaches in the Great Northern livery. Not quite the right livery for this loco, but it's sort of region accurate, and it actually looks fantastic. I'd love a ride on this. So thank you so much, LSWR. Then Beaglington on Sea wanted me to run the big boy, couple it somehow with elastic bands to egg vans, a Christmas wagon, the Coca-Cola Lomac, 4 brake vans and Annie and Clarabelle. Now, I did try the elastic band thing, but it didn't work. So you do have to try and pick stuff with compatible couplings if you can, otherwise I'll just have to substitute. So I've gone with the Hiawatha Pacific, which does have compatible couplings. So thank you, Beaglington, I've managed to get that as close as I could. Sorry I couldn't get the big boy on there, but a nice Christmas request. Thank you very, very much. And then we have Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, who had a lovely idea for James. I guess this is James's Christmas treat, maybe, because he gets to pull a Royal train. So I've put some Pullmans on. I think James is very, very happy indeed to be able to do that. And 4 coaches too, which is quite a lot for him to haul. But he seems to be doing it, and he's still got a big smile on his face. So nice work, James. So a big thank you to Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5, LSWR and Beaglington on Sea. Thank you very, very much. Up next, we have another from Captain Blues Gaming, who wanted to see a long train of all green. So a double header, 2 green locos, and as much green rolling stock as I can. So I've got some green coaches on there. I've got my green Warwell, green open wagon, green Christmas wagon, green Genesis coach, and also the green Prime Pork wagon. So hopefully that's okay for you, Co-Captain Blues Gaming. Then Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5 wanted to see the big boy with some American rolling stock and a caboose, and he wanted to see it keeping pace with a 9F, but I can tell you now it would not keep pace with a 9F. If I put the 9F on the track with the big boy, the 9F would crash into it because it's a lot faster than the big boy. So we'll just imagine it keeping pace with the 9F, and thank you very much for your support, Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5. And then finally, we have a request from ECT Railroad, who wanted to see my 2 W1s double heading, which is quite interesting. I don't know if I've done that before, but we've got the rebuilt Hush Hush behind the unrebuilt Hush Hush, and they are hauling a bit of a sleeper train. So thank you very much to ECT Railroad, also to Hendrick Motorsports Fan 5 and Co-Captain Blues Gaming. Thank you very much, folks. Let's go back live. There you go then, folks, nice request, thank you very much as always. Right, I've just realised I made a colossal error earlier on in the stream, and that was that I had an O-gauge request that I have not done. So it comes from Terence Priestley, who wanted to see anything O-gauge. So I've set up some open wagons and the Sentinel, which is I think still one of, if not my very favourite O-gauge model, or at least loco. But it's always going to be a loco, isn't it? Your favourite model, or at least it is for me. And so it's going to push the wagons up to the end of the railway, which is where the client requires them. And then it's going to back itself off and return to the depot. Here we go. This is for Terence. And I apologise, I should have done this at the start of the stream, but I didn't. Here they are. Right to the buffer stops, please. Slow down. Right, there we go. I think they're there. And then reverse. So there we go. Been ages since we've had some O-gauge action, but we sure have. There we go. Thank you, Sentinel. Going a bit faster there than a real Sentinel could, I guess, but that's the fun of models, isn't it? So there we go. All right, so we've got some final trains to run for the day, and then I guess that'll be it for today. But they're interesting ones. So we first of all have Williamtown, who wanted to see a Class 66 with 6 Mark 1s on a bit of a rail tour. So we'll call it a shoddy rail tour because it's that Hornby Class 66. And then Robert Taggart on the middle line wanted to see Lion with a balancing train, which is fascinating and oddly fitting somehow. I don't know, it just looks kind of right, doesn't it? And then another Terence Priestley one was to see the Terrier and some of the six-wheelers, the southern ones. So I've got that going on the inside line. So let's get these going and we'll see how we get on. I'm hoping there won't be any issues here. I'm just considering whether there might be a problem. Ooh, everything's broken down. Considering whether there might be a problem with the middle line, and that might be why. Ooh. What's this? What is that? Is that? Ooh, I think I've just solved the problem. Do you think this has come off the Dapol 59? I just found that on the track. Could that have caused the derailment? Does anybody recognise what that might be from? I think that might be the valance, and this is where the coupling pokes through on the Dapol 59. Let's, where is the Dapol 59? Here it is. Could that have caused the derailment? Yeah, I think that is what it is. You see that? Goes at the front there. So has that come off and gone under the train and perhaps caused a derailment or something? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if anybody saw what happened there. That's the first I noticed of that. But anyway, Lion tripped over it. Hopefully Lion's okay. I thought something had come off Lion for a second. That would have been a shame. But no, Lion's fine. Good. Off it goes. And then the Terrier too. Tell you something spooky's going on. Chloe, I almost said Chloe. Oh my gosh. Hopefully Chloe's not watching. Kelly, I always get the two mixed up. I don't know who that's an insult to. Probably both. Yeah, I think Kelly's requests of ghost trains have finally caused a spirit to be aroused up here in the loft. I don't know. I dread to think. Anyway, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has super chatted this stream, and I also have to go through and pick the most creative one for FJ Newton. In fact, maybe I should let you lot vote. So you probably shouldn't vote for your own if you've submitted one, but pop it in the chat. Which request from today do you think was the most creative? And I will, yeah, I'll see which one pops up. But for now, while I wait, I want to say a huge thank you to Malcolm Loud, Christopher Wakeling. I might have said that name wrong earlier on. If I did, I apologise. Adam Williams, Tagot 00, William Town, and Techno Andrew, Terence Priestley, Robert Sparks, Kelly Ashford Trains. Thank you for your request, Kelly. All of the requests I haven't done today will be done next stream, so don't worry about that. Lapis Wake, Caleb Chan, Mega Train Lover, ECD Railroad, Polar Pendleton, John C, Ronan's Railways, Sharky McSharknose, Eggs Trains, Beagington on Sea, Sam Garnett, William Town, A2020 Vision, Trainboy, J&W Studios, David Mattocks, and A2020 Vision again. Who just got a new crown put on her too, so can we see the Coronation Scot pulling a bunch of food and drink vans? Is that because you won't be able to have any more food and drink? And it'll just be wishful thinking, seeing the vans go by. Well, sure, I hope you're feeling okay with your new crown. But yeah, sure, we'll do that for you next week. And Caleb, I won't forget your request. No, I just saw it written down, so that will be done next week for you. The Cabbage Train. That is one. Eggs Train says, did you read mine? I'm not sure. That was an N-scale engine on a TT wagon, on a 00 wagon, on an O-scale 08, with a phone playing a horrible song of your choice. That is actually very creative. An N-scale engine on a TT wagon, on a 00 wagon, on an O-scale 08. I wonder if that will work. Would one of my N-scale, would that N-scale pannier fit on a TT wagon? Maybe it would. On an O-scale 08, on a 00 wagon, on an O-scale 08, with a phone playing a horrible song of your choice. That is very creative. I like that one. That one might have to be the one. Let's see what else we got. We got James and the Railgun. Yes, that was creative. Whose was that? Let's find it. I'm going to give them an honourable mention even so. I think that's certainly a contender. Oh yeah, that was Malcolm Loud. So yeah, that one's up for the count. The Terrier stopped apparently, says Ronan. Did it? No, oh yeah, it did. I think it might have just stopped on the points. Did it really stop immediately? Did I not notice that? Oh no, something went... I wonder if sorry, this might not be the most flattering view. I might have put one of these Genesis coaches on wrong. Well, they're not Genesis, Hornby four-wheelers. They're quite easy to put on wrong. If you get the middle wheel off the track, it doesn't tend to manifest until it goes over a point. Right, try again. Let's see. There it is. If it goes over the points, I'll be satisfied it's okay. Okay, Terrier's fixed, hopefully. I think it's a toss-up between Malcolm Loud and the Sam'sTrains one. You know, maybe it's a bad thing because I'm a bit bonkers and I love the bonkers stuff, but I do think the Sam'sTrains one is awesome. Have I already given one to Sam'sTrains? If not, Sam'sTrains, you can have it. If you've already had one this series, I'll give it to Malcolm. How does that sound? So, Sam'sTrains, I think yours was my favourite. Well done. Send me your postage address if you'd like to claim the wagon, and I'll send it off to you in the post. So, congratulations and thank you very much. And thank you very much to all these other requesters as well. I've got some little tips on what's coming up next week. I've got the final ever episode of Salvage or Scrap. That's coming up tomorrow. Final ever episode. I don't know if I've talked about this publicly, but the series is ending and the last episode is going up tomorrow. Then I'm going to be doing a review of one of the smallest locos I've ever seen. It really is tiny, so stay tuned for that. And then I'm going to be showing you all the latest in the model railway news, which is going to be next week as well. And then the final live stream of 2023 is going to come up on Friday. So think of some requests if you'd like to get those in last minute. And we'll see how we get on with some maybe Christmassy requests. Maybe that'll be my call to action. Think of a Christmassy request and submit it sometime before next week's stream, and I'll get that on the track for you. You should be able to submit them as soon as I've scheduled the stream the night before. So, little call to action. For now though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you liked the wagon unboxings as well. And let me know in the comments what you thought about that. If I don't spot you in the chat for the next 10 seconds that the stream is still going on for. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you next week for the final stream, which is a Christmas special. Alright, cheers folks, you take care, I'll see you on the next one. Hey folks, thank you all very, very much for tuning in for another episode of Sam'sTrains Live. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with another episode very, very soon, but in the meantime, please enjoy the videos that I'll be posting on my channel till then, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks again for your support folks, and take care of yourselves.